There's lots of other concerts coming up. Please check our flyers or sign up on our email sheet on the way out. Also, if anyone's parked in the garage across the street, that's the Franklin Street garage, please see us. We have coupons for discount parking. We also have discount coupons for several restaurants in the area. And there is a 9:30 show after this. And we just do ask, if you're not going to be staying for the 9:30 show, if you just please make your exits timely, just so that we can get people up here in time for the second show. But without further ado, let's welcome him back for the 9th year in a row, Mr. Robin Bullock.
Welcome. And as Sean said, happy early St. Patrick's Day. Such a joy to be back around the music. And thank you all very much for coming out and sharing the evening with me. In honor of the season, I'm going to start right off by taking you to Ireland. That was a classic Irish folk song called Raglan Road that I had the pleasure of recording a few years back as a guitar duet with a guitarist that I've admired for a long, long time, Alex DeGrassi. And then I had to figure out how to play it by myself. Situations like this where Alex isn't available, so that was my solo approximation of what he and I came up with together. One of the great joys of playing here at Omni Musique, as I'm sure you're well aware, is the wonderful acoustics of this room. And the acoustics here are so friendly that it's one of the few chances that an acoustic guitarist like myself can get away with playing as I'm playing tonight, completely unamplified. I love doing that when I can. I can't often, but it's a rare treat in this increasingly wired world we live in. So it may not be as loud as we're all used to in these times, but it's the genuine, unadulterated sound of these beautiful instruments I have here. We'll carry on. Keep it in Celtic mode for a little bit longer. This is a melody that, well, the Irish claim it as Irish and the Scots claim it as Scottish. And I know better than to get caught in the middle of that one. But although it has several different sets of lyrics and goes by several different titles, it's probably best known these days under the title Come by the Hills, after a lyric that a Canadian poet and TV producer, apparently it is possible to be both things, wrote for it sometime in, I think it was the 1960s, a man named Gordon Smith, and his lyric says, "Come by the hills to a land where fancy is free. Stand where the peaks reach the sky and the lochs meet the sea. Where the rivers run clear and bracken is gold in the sun, and the cares of tomorrow can wait till this day is done." switch over to this thing, which is fairly common in the Celtic music world, but not so much elsewhere. It answers to various different names, either the octave mandolin, because it's an octave lower than that one, which is a mandolin, the cittern, or the bouzouki. All of those are sort of borrowed names from other instruments that have been sort of hung loosely on this one. I use them all pretty much interchangeably. I don't really care what I call it. It seems to answer to any of those names. Though I am careful not to call it a bouzouki while carrying it through an airport. So I'll sing you a song this time that comes from a country that could be considered part of the Celtic diaspora if you define your terms very broadly, that being Australia. Well, after all, you know, a lot of Irish and Scots did wind up in Australia in the 18th and 19th centuries. They didn't choose to be there, but that's where they wound up. Consequently, the Australian folk song tradition has a lot of similarities with the Irish and Scottish and English folk song traditions. And this is a song from a breed of men known as the drovers, also known as the overlanders. And these were the men who drove huge herds of cattle across the Australian outback, kind of Australian cowboys, if you like. Sometimes for distances of thousands of miles, driving the cattle to new pasture land or driving them to market. And they were rather larger-than-life characters. They created kind of a self-mythology for themselves, I suppose, on the order of, here in the States we have Paul Bunyan and Mike Fink and Davy Crockett and so on. That's what the drovers were in Australian folklore and myth. They wrote thousands of poems and songs about themselves, praising themselves to the stars, letting the world know just what kind of men's men they were and what kind of heavy drinkers they were and so forth and so on. So this is one of those songs. A song from that tradition, and a drinking song, not coincidentally. So it's got a great chorus for singing. If you feel like singing, I'd love to have you join me. This is a great room for singing too, and I'd love to raise the rafters or raise the acoustic tiles or whatever those things are up there. Chorus of the song goes like this. Pass the billy round me, boys, don't let the pint pot stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every overlander. Think you can handle all that? It's pass the billy round me, boys, don't let the pint pot stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every overlander. Have you had a few drinks? Well, the song's got lots and lots of verses, as they often do, so you'll have plenty of time to pick this up. This is called the Queensland Overlanders. Stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every overlander. Oh, come on. I know all the serious drunks hang out here at On Music. We come from every land, from Spain and France and Flanders. We're a well-mixed pack, both white and black men called the Overlanders. Come on, pass the billy round me, boys, don't let the pint pot stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every Overlander. That's better. I come from the northern plains, where girls and grass are scanty, where the creeks run dry or 10 feet high, and it's either trout or plenty. Pass the billy round me, boys, don't let the pint pot stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every Overlander. like kings in clover, and it's many's the check goes down the neck of many's the Queensland drover. Pass the Billy Roundley boys, don't let the pine pot stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every overlander. When I come along the road, the children raise my dander, crying, "Mother dear, take in the clothes, here comes an overlander." Pass the Billy Roundley boys, don't let the pine pot stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every overlander. There's a trade you all know well, it's bringing the cattle over on every track to the Gulf and back, men know the Queensland drover. Pass the Billy Roundley boys, don't let the pine pot stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every overlander. Pass the Billy Roundley boys, don't let the pine pot stand there, for tonight we'll drink the health of every overlander. All right, let's just everybody calm down. Somebody getting a little out of control there. About a year or so ago, I fulfilled a long-time dream, which was to make a CD of solo guitar interpretations of music of three of my favorite composers. Those being Turlough O'Carolan, the great blind Irish bard of the 17th century, who left us with so many great tunes for the Irish harp. The greatest lutenist and lute composer of the English Renaissance, the late 1500s, John Dowland, and the master himself, the greatest composer ever to walk the earth, in my opinion. And of course, who could that be but
Bach.
Anybody? Johann Sebastian Bach, yes, of course. So it was a whole CD of Bach, Dowland, and Carolan for solo guitar. Aiming high, you might say. But as I commented to my recording engineer while we were working on it, at least we didn't have to worry about the quality of the material. Or royalties, as somebody pointed out. So, the CD is called Majesty and Magic, and I'll play you some music from that. I'll cover all three of those composers before we're done here this evening, and I'll start off with the music of John Dowland, wonderful Renaissance lute music. I'll play you a couple of his pieces for the lute, and on the CD these are two separate tracks, but I've since discovered that they work just fine if you just smash them together into one continuous medley as well, so that's what I'm going to do here. The first is a love song called Come Again, Sweet Love Doth Now Invite, and I'll follow that with a dance for the lute called Mistress Nichols Alma. So here's some 15th century music for you from John Dowland. 300-year-old tune for the Irish harp by the last and the greatest of the Irish bards, the Blind.